Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm bringing you all three sections of a TikToker's dating story, Miss Dolly Day 800 on TikTok if you want to check her out. And in this particular story, she tells how a gentleman drove 300 miles for a date, but she also then reveals his ulterior motives. But go ahead and take a listen and then let's talk about it.
Y'all not going to believe this. Let me tell you what's happened this afternoon. Now, I was planning on going out on a date this weekend because a man from a dating app had asked me out. We had chatted a little bit, and he said that he wanted to meet. He wanted to take me out to dinner. I encouraged him because I wasn't 100% sure, and I've been burned lately. So I just thought, well, let's just take it a little more casual than that. So I suggested coffee, because I don't want to get all dolled up and all excited and go out, meet some guy at a restaurant and find out he's a turd. I'm over it. So I suggested a coffee. He wanted to go out to a nice dinner. And I told him, well, I'm really busy. How about we meet for coffee on Saturday morning and, we'll go from there. So he agreed. It's Friday. We're going to go on our coffee date tomorrow. He texted me. And he said, hey, do you have a few minutes to talk? And I said, sure. So we got on the phone and we got to talking. And it turns out that he's traveling 3 hours. Now, his profile on the dating app said that he lived here in my area. That's where it said. He's traveling several hours to come here to meet me for coffee. And because he thinks that he already knows me. And I thought, what? Huh? He said, I already know that you're perfect for me. You do? How? Okay. A little quick. Right? A couple of phone calls and a few texts. Really? But so I'm like, well, tell me how, what would make you think that right away like this? And he told me that he's been watching my TikToks and that he heard me say on one of my lives or in a video or something, which dating app I was on. Girl, I'm not meeting this man for coffee. So right then on the phone, I said, oh, well, something has come up. I'm so glad we're on the phone right now. I cowered out. I chickened out. Instead of just telling him what I really thought, I chickened out. And I said, something has just come up, and I'm so glad we're talking on the phone because I'm not going to be able to meet you tomorrow. And I certainly don't want you to drive several hours here. And it just kind of freaked me out. I mean, he may be perfectly fine and great, but it just kind of freaked me out. And because it happens to me a lot more than you might realize on the dating apps, but I usually can catch it pretty quick because they know too much about me in the text or something, and I go, And not that I don't want, that I would turn away someone I met through TikTok, but just, you don't know me, you know what I mean? You think you do, or you didn't see me with my hair standing on end, and you didn't see me, I do know that I share my dating chronicles, my chronic dating. I share it, but I share it for the purpose of all of us not feeling alone, because that's how I originally started on sharing my dating stories, was because I really felt like I was the only one in the whole world going through some of that. And as soon as I shared the first story about dating, I got this feedback, and I found my people, and so that's my reason for sharing. But it kind of freaked me out. Then I confessed to him. I told him in the phone call, because he was trying to get me to change his mind. He could, we could meet at a different time, that sort of thing. And then I confessed, and I said, it kind of freaks me out a little bit. I said, because you think you know me, but you're a complete stranger to me. And I've made friends in the past, and that happens a lot when I meet someone and they know me from TikTok. they think that they know everything about me, but I'm standing there with a complete stranger. It takes time to build a friendship. It takes time. I need to find out about you. I need to know more about you. I need to know, more. You can't just claim me as, okay, I'll take you. All right, if no one else will have her, I will. I said, you can't do that. He said, no. He said, I don't know how you've been single so long. I said, I appreciate that. I take that as a compliment. But let's get to know each other a little more on the phone. Let's do that before, especially before you drive. And then I said, how did it says on your profile that you live here in this town. And he said, oh, well, I changed the zip code so that I could match with you because I couldn't find you. Oh, shit. And so now that's happened before. Remember the guy that worked on the oil rig? He did that. And it turns out he was a really great guy, a good guy, but he was looking for some instant hookup, and I'm not that. So we just remained friends, and we went on a couple of dates, that guy on the oil rig and he's a nice enough guy, but he had gone out of his way. He had joined the gym when I'd said which gym I was at. But he really does live here. He works out on an oil rig. And so I was fortunate that time, that he was a decent person. And this guy sounds like a decent person, but it just freaks me out. And I'm not sure how I feel about it. I'm just not sure how I feel about it. What would you do? What would you do? Because back to my original reason for posting all my dating chronicles is because I feel a community, with all of you, and you all have gone through the same thing. So have you, you got an opinion on this? And he's probably really nice, right? He's probably really nice, but I almost wish he hadn't told me and I'd had an opportunity to meet him, because if I liked him, I could probably look past that. If he told me at the end of our first date, I probably would have been okay with it. But then on the flip side, like, what other secrets are you keeping? There's no winning. There's no winning in this for him, right? And, but it doesn't seem like there's any winning for me either. One last thing, okay? When I did tell him that I wanted to just talk on the phone and get to know him a little bit better before we made the effort to meet in person and all that, once I told him that, he kind of got a chuckle out of it. So I want to tell you that he did take that like a champ. You know what I mean? He understood, and he said, "Oh, okay, so this issue is going to go to the committee," and I kind of got a laugh out of it, and I said, the committee, he said, yeah, he said, the girls, he said, your TikTok girls, he said, it's going to go to the committee and we'll see how this works out. I said, yeah. And I said, but do you mind not, he said, well, I'm not going to make a comment on it or anything. I said, no. I said, how about for a little while you not watch my TikToks and you give me a chance to feel like we're getting to know each other at our own pace, and not you're having an advantage of getting to know me and I don't have any way of getting to know you. So let's just stick to the phone. So he agreed to that. So he is temporarily blocked on my TikTok, and I feel like he's put in enough effort already that he understands that if he doesn't stick to that probably this ain't going to work out at all. Because it is strange. He knows so much about me, but I don't know anything about him. It puts me in a really awkward, it's an unbalanced getting to know someone, because he knows everything about me, or a lot anyway, and I don't know anything about him. So he did agree to that, but he does understand this is going to the committee. Y'all not going to believe this. Let me tell you what's happened. I did finally go meet the guy from the dating app that changed his zip code so that he could match with me and all of that, right? Okay. All right. So if you haven't seen that video, go back and watch it so that you know what we're talking about. So I met him for coffee, and he agreed that a coffee date would be fine. My thought and his thought was, if it all goes well, maybe we can spend the afternoon together. That was the plan. And he's been very open-minded and very understanding that all of this kind of freaks me out a little bit. He's been very good about all that. Now, he works in the construction industry. And so of course, we video called and all that. We've done that. And I expected in person him to be a pretty, sturdy guy. And he was. He's very muscly and he's very handsome. He cleaned up really nice. He had on a nice pair of slacks and a nice top. And I got on a cute little sundress. And we had coffee and we hit it right off, we just really flowed with the conversation. Of course, we've been, telephone calls and texting, all that's been good. So while we sat there, he said, what do you want to do next? Because we've been there about 45 minutes or so. We've had our coffee. It's done. The cup's empty. And he said, what would you like to do next? And I said, oh, okay. So I took it as an indication that he was having as good of a time as I was. And he said, what do you want to do? I said, oh, we could go do a little walking tour downtown of the murals. There's another coffee shop down there, or we could go play miniature golf, or, there's lots of little things here in Dothan we can do. And he said, well, what do you want? Let's get something to eat. And I said, oh, okay, sure. So we left there and we went to a sandwich shop and we had a nice sandwich and, a glass of green tea and, all good for a lunch. And again, still enjoying the conversation. The conversation just kind of flowed with us. And so at the end of lunch, he said, well, where do you want to go for dinner? And I thought, we haven't even left this restaurant. He's already talking about another restaurant. Okay. I said, oh, well, I don't know. I hadn't thought that far ahead, I guess. And he said, well, I'd like to change. He said, out of these slacks, he said, it's hot. And I understand that because it's hot as Hades, right? And so I said, oh, well, I can wait here if you, and I said, you can go out in your truck and get, your pair of shorts and you change in the bathroom. Nobody will say anything. And he said, oh, well, I kind of want to wash up and shower and stuff before we go to dinner. I said, well, we wouldn't be going to dinner for a bit. And he said, oh, okay, well, do you want to take my bag back to your place? And I said, no. I said, where are you staying? And he said, well, I thought I'd stay at your place. I said, no, you're not staying overnight at my house. No. And it just kind of took the air out of the balloon. You know what I mean? And he said, oh, well, I drove 3 hours here. And so sarcastically, I said, well, it's not like I tricked you and told you I live 5 minutes away. And he said, oh, no. He said, no, I'm glad that I drove the 3 hours. He said, it's just, I thought I'd stay over. I said, okay, well, great. Where are you staying? And he said, oh, well, I guess I can get a hotel room or something. I said, yeah, you're going to need to either get a hotel room if you're staying or you're going to sleep in your truck because you're not staying at my house. He said, well, we're getting along really well. I said, yes, we are getting along really well. But that doesn't mean that you can come stay at my house. And he said, oh, yeah, no, I understand. But you could tell that he was really taken back by this. And I'm not saying anything else. I'm not filling in the dead space here at all. I'm just looking at him. And he said, well, maybe we've had a good time. Maybe we'll just wrap it up for the day. And I said, oh, okay. He said, it's a long drive back. I said, yeah. I said, because you could tell with my silence that I was just moments away from giving him let me tell you something, Mr. Routine, right? And it just changed the whole date because we really were having a nice time and I really was enjoying his company. I don't know what I think about this. Now, if he had mentioned it and was just testing the water, like he already had a room, already said, well, hey, we could go back to your place and take a shower and get all changed up. And when I said no, he said, no, I'm just teasing. I really have a room at the whatever hotel. If he'd just done something like that, just kind of testing the water to see what I'd say, I would have actually gotten a tickle out of it. I'd have got a chuckle out of it. But he wasn't. He was absolutely serious. And I had not thought ahead about is he staying over or not, because that is not of any concern of mine. And I don't know. I think we're back at ground zero. Maybe not, maybe yes. I don't know where this is going because I haven't talked to him since then. It's been about an hour since, so he ain't even home yet. And he did reassure me that he did not open up another account. He's not been watching my TikTok. He said he totally understood how that would freak me out. And I don't know. I think we're back at ground zero, girls. Y'all are not going to believe this. Let me tell you what happened. All right, the guy, all right, so if you've been following along, if you haven't, you're going to need to go back and watch these last two videos so that you know what we're talking about, all right? But I met this guy on a dating app. He changed his zip code so that he could match with me because he lives several hours away. I didn't know that when we were chatting inside the dating app. Once we got a little further into chatting, he disclosed that how far away he lived, and I said, I thought you lived right here in my area because that's what your profile says. He said, no. He said, I want to confess that I changed it so I could meet you. And I said, huh? And he said, I seen you on TikTok, this, that, right? So I've had a couple of strange things happen with people on TikTok. Not my friends, but guys trying to get me involved in their account and that sort of thing. And it's weird and creepy and, anyway. And I've had to block them. But this guy, he was on the dating app, and I said, huh? Why would you do it? He said, I've watched your TikTok. He said, I think you're perfect for me. I said, oh, okay. And that kind of freaked me out. So I was like, I had canceled the date with him right after that. I was like, no. Well, finally, we continued to talk for another almost 10 days, more than a week. And I agreed to a coffee date. And he was going to drive up here. We're going to go have coffee. And if it all went well, maybe we'd go do something after, spend the afternoon together. Well, when he got here, and we hit it right off. I mean, the conversation was good. I was attracted to him, and nice guy. And he wanted to, what do you want to do next? And so we went and had lunch. And after lunch, he asked about changing his clothes. And it kind of unraveled from there where he thought he was going to spend the night at my house. And I was really, not impressed. Well, then he left. And he left polite. He's like, oh, maybe we'll just call it a day. It's a long drive home. And I thought, okay. And so he drove home. And of course, it was a 3-hour drive home. Well, that evening, I hadn't heard from him. So that evening, I sent him a text and said, hey, did you make it home safe? Because it is a long drive. I do want to know that he made it home safe. And he just texted me back, yeah. Not yes, not okay, not anything, just Y-A, yeah. I said, oh, okay. So I didn't hear any more from him. The next morning, he texted me and he said, I'd like to have a conversation with you about something really important. And I was like, okay. I said, well, call now. So I texted him, call now. So he called me and we spoke on the phone, and he told me that he has a job opportunity here in my area. And I said, oh, that's fabulous. And I said, and I'm thinking, this was over the weekend, right? When I met with him, it was the weekend, and what's the chances of you getting a job offer on a Sunday? You know what I mean? And so I said, oh, well, tell me about it. So he told me about it. He said he's been in talks with them for about a month, and finally they've made the offer of a job. Well, I didn't fall off the turnip truck yesterday. This guy has been planning a move and thought that I was a stepping stone in that, right? Because a place to live. So I've got my hackles up. I'm just listening on the phone, just listening, but it's clicking. I'm tracking. You know what I mean? So I let him talk. He said, so I'll be up there. He said, they're going to put me up in a hotel for a week, but after that I need to find a place. And he said, it may take me a while and da-da-da. And he said, I was hoping that if we get along well, that maybe you'd rent a room out to me. Right there, we're done and over. We're done and over, because his purpose of meeting me wasn't because I was perfect for him. His purpose of changing his zip code in that dating app was because I was the perfect location for him. So I said to him, no, and then I told the fib. I said, I've actually rekindled a relationship with someone I've dated in the past, and I don't think that it'd be appropriate for you staying at my house. Now, I said that out of awkwardness when I really should have just said, to the hell, to the no, to the no, to the hell, to the no. But I didn't. I was trying to feel because it's ingrained in us to be polite. right? And that happened. As much as I feel like I'm bold and speak my mind, there are times and I feel a little cornered, but I don't sway from my end answer, from the final answer, but I may deliver it differently. So I kind of fibbed and said, but the truth is I have not rekindled anything with anybody. And girl, what's with these guys? What? My Prince Charming better show up, because I'm that close. I really believe I was meant to spend the rest of my life with a partner. I really do believe that, but I'm starting to give up hope. All right, girls, I'm ready to join the all girl commune. Let's go find the bear. You know, I know I don't want to. I am a romantic at heart, and I really do believe my guy is out there. But the more I deal with this dipshit stuff, the more I'm almost at the end, girls. I'm almost at the end of my rope with this. But I'm gonna hang on for the summer. He's either gonna show up this summer or he ain't. What do you think?
Okay, so now you've watched it. So let's talk about it. First of all, so Dolly has over 500,000 followers on her TikTok page, right? So this gentleman was able to glean a lot about her just based off of her videos. So he knew what she liked, what type of person she liked, probably what type of cologne or what kind of career, or she probably shares a lot of information on her videos. So then this person, this stalker, builds a profile that's really specific to her. He changed his zip code just so that he could meet her. And again, he knew where she was based off of him following her on TikTok and getting that information. So he used that information that he gleaned from her TikTok profile to then stalk her in a dating app. They friended each other, and now she's the perfect woman because he knows all about her. But in reality, she knew absolutely nothing about him. Do you notice in the videos, first of all, she was so polite. But do you notice in the videos, she keeps saying, he's a nice guy, he's a nice guy. You don't actually know that. What he sent was his representative. And he sent a representative that was shaped just for her. He knew what she needed or what she wanted in a person. And he formed himself into the person for her. Who knows what she would have gotten if it had become deeper, if she had allowed him to even spend the night or allowed the relationship to grow. Because people can only fake who they are for so long, right? They're not going to be able to have that facade on forever. That facade will drop, and the true person that he is would come through. And in my opinion, the true person that he is a stalker. I never would have gone on the first date with him. I would have literally I would have blocked him after receiving that information. You what? You stalked my page. You knew where I was and you intentionally, yeah, nah. I'm sorry. You tell me, I'm blocking you. We're not going on a date. I definitely do not want you to drive 3 hours to come see me, because in my mind's eye, you're crazy. But I'm not going to belabor this because I know it's already been a very long video, but I did want to come back and kind of get your impressions on it. So if you don't mind, go ahead and get down in the comments and let's really talk about it. Is this really what it's like dating over 50? I mean, I'm over 50, but I have a man. So I don't have to worry about the dating part or going out there and look. That is not something that I would even want to entertain at this stage. But is this what's really happening? What do you have any experiences that you want to share, or just let me know? Do you think she did the right thing by going out with this gentleman? Would you have gone out with him? And really, do you think that people are putting too much information about themselves on social media? And then they're opening themselves up to something like this. I don't know. But I want to thank you for coming through and stopping and watching this video. If you could, again, go ahead and get in the comments and let's talk about it. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. And until next time, toodles.